Manchester Metropolitan University is a post-92 university. Since then, through natural growth, acquisitions and mergers, that's now grown to 34,000 students. It offers over 1,300 courses, and about 20% of the students are pursuing postgraduate courses.
Montfort University has two sites in Leicester. We have in the region of 20,000 students and around 3,500 staff. We have 5 faculties offering a broad range of vocational studies, but also backed up by quite a lot of research as well.
Royal Northern College of Music was formed in 1973. We currently have in the region of 800 students, both postgraduate and undergraduate, and we are a world-class leading conservatoire.
We have approximately 11,000 students, good mix of full-time, part-time, undergraduate, postgraduate, and a large overseas community as well.
The university, when I joined, had an in-house student record system. It was being used by, at the time, 14 schools across the university, and each of those schools had its own local copy of that database. And then, as an overnight procedure, information was extracted from those systems and brought into a central database that the registry had access to. It gave us all sorts of problems with regard to the sharing of information across the university and with regard to centralised management reporting. And the system that we had in place, our in-house system, was not designed to support a modular curriculum. So we wanted a system that was a single database that could be accessed by anybody across the institution, which our existing system couldn't offer us.
The existing system was kind of coming to the end of its useful life, and the vendor wasn't intending at that time to do any major developments. So that was part of the reason, but the main reason was we wanted to look forwards to the future and try and put in place a student and academic record system that would be fit for purpose for the next 10-15 years and reflect the changes that were coming through education.
What we liked about the Agresso approach was that the underlying curriculum design was an extremely flexible design which allowed us to go down to any number of levels in our curriculum, whereby the competition seemed to be a little bit more restricted in that area.
We chose to use Agresso due to its user-friendly interface. It had a similar look and feel as other Windows applications.
We were determined to have a system that would maintain a sort of current look and feel, because people were becoming used to desktop technology. So the freshness of the Agresso system, as distinct from some of the other systems, was probably a key feature in pleasing the very wide user base.
We wanted something that we could plug it in with our intranet and website. We were also looking to use a system that would help us nurture our relationships basically from cradle to grave, the entire student life cycle from point of inquiry, and then capture that information right through to alumni. And with the CRM module, we'd be able to do that.
We've also implemented some of the periphery QLS modules like the nursing management system and the education placements module. Before implementing these modules, we used to have in-house systems which had to interface to the student record system, whereas the ones we've got now are looking at real-time, live student statuses.
Students now expect so much more from their experience at university, and we need to ensure that all university systems can support these additional demands that students are placing on us.
They're coming with expectations about what the institution should already know about them. The old enrolment queues at universities of the past, I guess, won't be tolerated in the future, and that's why we're doing a lot of work on things like student self-enrolment to remove those.
With the introduction of student portals, with the introduction of online assessment marking, the ability to re-enroll online without having to go to faculty offices, all the sort of things that students tend to do normally now as part of their everyday lives using the internet. It's so important now that the systems that the university implements keep pace with technology and support those needs, otherwise we'll just fall behind the rest of the market. It's so important. There was a nervousness around the institution from the users from moving from the in-house system to a centralised database. There was nervousness about sharing information. Faculties were had been used to only seeing their own data, not sharing it around the institution. We now have a completely shared database that anybody can have access to. And the ability to have a centralised reporting repository now rather than having to capture information from many disparate sources. The change has been phenomenal.
We are enabling the users to take ownership of their data, and they have very easy access to their data. Everything is web-based, and a lot of our academics find that a lot easier, and they're not going to our admin staff immediately just to find out a student's phone number or what instrument they play.
Because it's now a universal system for the university, and it's allowed us to systematically kind of stamp out local database users. And as a large institution, we're based on 7 faculties, so the opportunities, if you like, for rogue databases to grow out there is quite strong. But by having this one implementation, then staff can be developed better, staff development and training is easier, and then staff have greater mobility across the institution because they take their skill sets with them and can apply them to the system wherever they are.
By having a centralised system, it has helped us introduce common processes and procedures around the way that data is captured and recorded. And by having it all in one system, it allows us to put standards and controls over what values are entered into fields.
We've got validation on certain key fields, so there's lookups, and we can ensure that the correct values are going in. And we can make certain fields mandatory as well, which we weren't able to do before. So you can, especially at the enrolment stage, we can tell that the key information is being collected, and that's improved the data quality overall.
We did notice that the actual registration process was a lot smoother and a lot quicker because the system was way more resilient than the old clunky access system that we'd used in the past.
Hopefully we'll be able to get the pictures, photo IDs up front before the enrolment process, which is done in the manual stage at the moment, with lots of students queuing for a whole enrolment weekend.
We take in annually something of the order of 15,000 students, and so it's important that we have a system that's both responsive and rapid. And it's a very important requirement of good student record system that it can cope with volume. It's possible, to tolerate slight inefficiencies in systems when you're dealing with relatively small numbers of students, but multiply that 15,000 times, and inefficiencies obviously become really quite apparent. So we've worked with Agresso over the last couple of years to refine the enrolment system, and that removed almost completely any queuing issues this last time round.
I think Agresso has a big presence in the HE sector because of its interoperability with other vendors, third-party vendors such as, well, for us QCAS, but I know obviously UCAS admissions service, the student loans company, timetabling software such as Cellcat, and for us especially, that was a huge selling point.
We're moving down the route of the Agresso self-service sort of suite of products because we want, again, to create a modern environment for students coming into the university. And the integration with finance will be crucial in that, in the sense that we want them to be able to see, for whatever their planned programme is, what that cost will be to them over the current and future years.
I think having both QL financials and QL students has been a big benefit to the implementation. To have those systems fully integrated, to be able to pass the fees through from students, have the invoices built, dynamically pass those through to the finance system, has been a big bonus in our implementation. The HESA Workbench is definitely one of the strongest modules within the Agresso suite. We had all sorts of problems producing HESA returns in the past, and the impact that module alone has made has saved us hours and months of work. It's also helped us improve the quality of our HESA returns enormously, and it's one of the modules that our users constantly say has really made a step change in the way that De Montfort processes its data and its HESA returns.
The HESA return, that was our key milestone for this project because we didn't have a way of doing it ourselves with the new requirements. But now it's set up, it's definitely going to save us time next year.
The Agresso workbench for HESA has been excellent really, and allowed us to construct a draft response to HESA in a matter of 10 minutes, where we know that other systems have struggled to do that either in hours or even days.
It's improved our data quality no end, and the whole process of generating the return has been simplified. We haven't got to maintain any of that software ourselves. The key developers at Agresso have had constant liaison with HESA, so we know that we're getting real-time stuff, and it's on the set calendar for the different requirements that HESA ask for.
One of the biggest things that we learnt was to adequately resource the project and to have buy-in right from the senior management from a PVC level. You need that steer from the top level when you're affecting so many people's business processes across the institution.
I think if you've got the support from above and the executives to push that change of culture through, keep people motivated and obviously set milestones and targets for people to adhere to.
The other thing that's very important is to take your users along with you. Don't expect for it to be an IT project where you buy a bit of software, you load it on their desk and you expect the users to go away with it. It's so important that when you go through each of the modules of implementing the student record system, be it applications, be it enrolment or whatever it might be, it's so important to get the key users on board to model the software with you and the processes around it. If you fail on that side, you won't have a successful implementation. I think the presence of Agresso in the HE marketplace is a strong one. They are engaged in HE, there's a genuine desire to succeed in HE and to provide solutions right across the sector. They're not just interested in providing a solution that only tackles one aspect of the business. They're looking at it holistically. They're looking at what can we provide to the HE sector right across the range of software applications that can solve the HE problems, and I think that's where Agresso really stand out.
We had a good relationship with Agresso over the past 12 months. We've built a good rapport with our account manager and the consultants we see on a routine basis. We feel very pleased and actually comforted to know that our consultants have managed to pick up the programme structure and our terminology that used at a conservatoire, because it is quite different than those of other large HE institutions. And without them we wouldn't have achieved our goal of the HESA return in 2008.
I think the key to it is finding out how the supplier is going to implement change and liaise with the customer, and the support centre responses that you get for calls.
It's not only have we achieved the targets that we originally set out with regard to a 3-year implementation programme which we kept on budget and within timescale, but I think the ongoing relationship and partnership that we have with Agresso, whereby we've extended that original target of straightforward student implementation to now extend it to incorporate additional modules like the academic database, like the research module, where again we've worked very closely with Agresso to develop those modules. And I think that is, that ongoing relationship over the 10 years or so that we've been working with them, we just see that extended into the future as well.